The Stellar Dawn was the biggest passenger ship in the Earth space fleet. It looked beautiful as it moved through space, its white hull shining under the distant stars. Captain Do Young Kim stood on the bridge, watching the main screen with calm eyes. This was his 15th year commanding passenger ships, and he loved every minute of it. "Captain, all systems are running well," First Officer Mira Choi said from her station. She was new to the ship, having joined just 3 months ago. "We have 2,000 passengers on board, and all of them are settled in their rooms." Do Young nodded, his face showing a small smile. "Good. How are the entertainment areas doing?" "The pools are full, the restaurants are busy, and the space observation deck is packed," Myray replied, checking her screens. "It seems everyone wants to see the Rainbow Nebula as we pass by." The ship was 3 days into its 2-week journey from Earth to the Paradise Resorts, a group of artificial worlds built for vacations. It was a popular route, especially during Earth's summer months when families wanted to travel. Security Chief Haenul Park walked onto the bridge. He moved quietly for a big man, something he had learned during his years in the Earth Defense Force. "Captain, I've finished the daily security check. Everything is normal, but..." He paused, looking serious. "But what?" Do Young turned to face him. "We got a message from Fleet Command. There have been 3 pirate attacks in nearby sectors this month, all on cargo ships, but still, we should be careful." Do Young's face stayed calm, but his eyes showed concern. "Have you checked our defense systems?" "Yes, sir. All the hidden turrets are working perfectly. The shield generators are ready, and our security teams are doing extra training, just in case." Haenul's voice was low and steady. "The passengers don't know about any of this, of course. We don't want to worry them." In the medical bay, Dr. Jaewon Lee was organizing her supplies. She had served on military ships before joining the passenger fleet, and she always kept extra medical kits hidden around the ship. It was probably not necessary, but old habits died hard. "Doctor, there's a child with a scraped knee in room 3. A nurse called out. Jaewon smiled. These days, scraped knees were the worst things she had to deal with, and she was happy about that. Still, she kept her combat medical skills sharp, practicing in her free time. Back on the bridge, Do Young received another message. This one was from Tae Young Shin, a passenger in first class. Tae Young was retired now, but he used to be one of the best combat engineers in the Earth Defense Force. He had helped design many of the ship's hidden features. "Just checking in, Captain," the message read. "I noticed the new modifications to the cargo bay doors. Good work. Most pirates wouldn't spot them until it's too late." Do Young sent back a simple thank you and deleted both messages. The Stellar Dawn might look like a regular passenger ship, but it was far from helpless. Every deck had hidden security features. Every beautiful piece of art could turn into a shield. Every bright hallway could become a trap. Mayray's voice broke into his thoughts. "Captain, we're about to pass through the Rainbow Nebula. Should I make an announcement?" "Yes, please do," Do Young said. He watched as families gathered at the observation windows. Children pressed their faces against the glass, pointing at the beautiful colors outside. Parents took pictures, and couples held hands. This was why he loved his job, these moments of peace and joy. But like any good captain, he was always ready. The pirates might think passenger ships were easy targets, but they would learn differently if they ever tried to attack the Stellar Dawn. As the ship sailed smoothly through space, its passengers enjoyed their vacation, unaware of the careful plans and hidden strengths around them. They didn't need to know that their luxury cruise ship could become a fortress or that many crew members had military training. They were safe, and that was all that mattered. For now, the calm continued, and the Stellar Dawn moved gracefully through the stars, carrying its precious cargo of human lives toward their destination. The peace on the Stellar Dawn ended at exactly 3:45 ship time. First Officer Mayra Choi was the first to notice something wrong on her scanner screens. 3 ships had appeared from behind a large asteroid. They were moving fast and straight toward the passenger ship. "Captain," Mayray called out, her voice steady but serious. "We have 3 unknown vessels approaching. They're not responding to automatic identification requests." Captain Do-young Kim walked to her station and looked at the screen. His face stayed calm, but his shoulders tensed slightly. "How long until they reach us?" 20 minutes at their current speed," Mayray answered. Do-young pressed a button on his command chair. "Security Chief Hae-nul, please come to the bridge immediately." His voice was quiet but firm. Hae-nul arrived within 2 minutes. By then, the unknown ships were closer, and their intentions were becoming clear. They were spreading out to surround the stellar dawn. "Pirates," Hae-nul said, looking at the tactical display. "That's their standard attack formation. I've seen it before." Just then, a message came through on all channels. The voice was rough and demanding. "Passenger vessel Stellar Dawn, this is Captain Kang-dae. Your ship is now under our control. Disable your engines and prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will result in passenger casualties." Do-young shared a quick look with Hae-nul. They had planned for this, but now it was real. "Begin Safety Protocol 3, Do-young ordered, quietly." Hae-nul nodded and started sending coded messages to his security teams. Throughout the ship, crew members began moving carefully and purposefully. In the medical bay, Dr. Ji-won Lee received the alert on her personal device. Without showing any alarm, she turned to her staff. "We should run that emergency drill we discussed last week, just to be safe." Her team understood and began preparing their hidden emergency stations. Meanwhile, passengers were enjoying their afternoon activities when pleasant music started playing through the ship's speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen," Mayray's cheerful voice announced, "we will be conducting a routine safety drill. Please follow the crew's instructions to your designated safety areas. This is only a drill, but we appreciate your cooperation." Tae-young Shin, the retired combat engineer, was in the ship's lounge when he heard the announcement. He recognized the hidden message in the music's pattern. Moving casually, he approached a young crew member. "I think I left something in my room," he said with a meaningful look. "Could you help me check the engineering sections on the way?" The crew member understood. Together, they headed toward the ship's critical systems, appearing to just be a helpful staff member assisting a passenger. Back on the bridge, Do-young opened a channel to the pirate ships. "This is Captain Do-young Kim of the Stellar Dawn. We are a civilian passenger vessel. Please state your intentions." He needed to buy time while the ship prepared. "Don't play games, Captain," Kang-dae replied. "Disable your engines now, or we'll do it for you. You have 10 minutes." Do-young looked at his crew. The bridge staff worked quickly but calmly, hiding their true actions behind routine movements. Security teams were quietly taking positions. Passengers were being guided to reinforced areas that looked like simple gathering rooms. 8 minutes, Captain, Kang-dae's voice came again. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." Hae-nul stepped close to Do-young's chair. "All teams are in position," he whispered. "Hidden weapons are charged. Shield generators are ready. Security doors are set." Do-young nodded slowly. The pirates thought they were approaching the helpless luxury liner. They didn't know that every beautiful corridor could become a defense zone, or that the peaceful-looking crew included many veterans. 5 minutes, Kang-dae warned. "Send them our surrender message," Do-young ordered quietly. "Let them think we're scared and helpless. Let them come." His eyes were focused and determined. "But first, make sure all passengers are secure. We're about to show these pirates why attacking the human passenger ship was their worst mistake." The pirates' ships attached themselves to the Stellar Dawn's hull with loud mechanical sounds. Captain Do-young Kim watched calmly from the bridge as the first boarding pod cut through what the pirates thought was a weak point in the ship's structure. They were in for a surprise. "All crew, maintain positions," Security Chief Hae-nul Park said quietly into his communication device. Let them enter the first security zone before we respond. The first group of pirates entered through the cargo bay. They wore black space armor and carried plasma rifles. Their leader, a tall man with a scared helmet, looked around the seemingly empty cargo area. "Too easy," one pirate said, walking forward. "These passenger ships never have proper security." That's when they heard the first click. The pirate who had spoken looked down at his feet. The smooth floor panel beneath him had changed shape, forming a tight lock around his boots. Before he could shout a warning, more clicks echoed through the cargo bay. 5 more pirates found themselves stuck in place. "What's happening?" the lead pirate demanded. Then the lights changed. The cargo bay's bright lighting turned to a deep red. Hidden panels in the walls slid open, revealing defensive turrets. The pirates tried to raise their weapons, but most of them couldn't move their feet. "This is Security Chief Haynul Park," a calm voice came through the speakers. "You have entered a secured area without permission. Drop your weapons." The pirates responded with plasma fire, but their shots hit energy shields that appeared around the turrets. The shields were nearly invisible until hit, another surprise for the invaders. In the medical bay, Dr. Jaiwan Lee heard the first sounds of combat. She checked her screens, watching through hidden cameras as the pirates discovered their mistake. Her medical teams were ready in secure areas, prepared to help if needed. More pirates were cutting through different parts of the ship now. They entered through 3 more points, but each group found similar surprises. Some floors became sticky, other corridors filled with a harmless but thick fog that their sensors couldn't penetrate. One group found themselves trapped between 2 security doors that looked like regular walls moments before. Why aren't they surrendering? First Officer Mayray asked on the bridge, watching the pirates struggle against the ship's defenses. "Pride," Captain Du Young answered. "And they haven't seen our worst surprises yet." In the engineering section, Tai Young Shin worked quickly with the crew. His old skills came back easily as he helped them activate more defensive systems. Passenger ships changed a lot since the first pirate attacks. He explained to a young engineer, "We just hide it better now." The lead pirate, Kang Dae, finally entered the ship himself. He was angry. Nothing was going as planned. This was supposed to be an easy target, just a luxury ship full of rich tourists. Instead, his crews were reporting advanced security systems and military-grade defenses. Breakthrough to the passenger areas. He ordered his remaining free forces. "We need hostages." But the pirates couldn't find the passengers. Every time they thought they were getting close to the guest quarters, they found themselves turned around, facing more security measures. The ship's layout seemed to change around them, corridors shifting and doors disappearing. "Impossible," Kang Dae muttered, staring at his map display. Nothing matched what his scans had shown from outside. This ship was like a living thing, fighting back against them. On the bridge, Du Young received a message from Haynul. First wave contained 20 pirates trapped, 15 retreating to their ships. Should we begin the counterattack? Du Young looked at his crew, seeing their ready expressions. The pirates had started this fight thinking they were attacking a helpless target. Now it was time to show them just how wrong they were. "Yes," Du Young said simply. "Show them why you don't attack a human passenger ship." Security Chief Haynul Park moved silently through the service corridors of the Stellar Dawn. His team of 10 security officers followed him, their footsteps quiet despite their protective gear. They had trained for this many times, but now it was real. Team 1 in position. Haynul whispered into his communication device, ready to begin counter-strike. From the bridge, Captain Du Young Kim watched the security team's movements on his screen. 3 teams were now in position, surrounding the largest group of pirates who had gathered in the main cargo hold. "All teams, you may proceed," Du Young ordered. His voice was steady and calm. In the medical bay, Dr. Ji-Won Lee prepared her emergency stations. She had set up 3 secure treatment areas, hidden behind what looked like regular walls. "Medical teams ready to receive any injured," she reported. The first strike came from Haynul's team. They released a special gas into the cargo hold, one that would make the pirates' breathing masks stop working. The pirates had good equipment, but human engineers had studied pirate gear for years. They knew all its weaknesses. "What's happening?" One pirate shouted as his mask's filters failed. "I can't breathe properly." The pirates started to panic. Some tried to retreat, but found the exits blocked. Others tried to shoot at the walls, but their weapons had mysteriously stopped working. The ship's hidden systems had sent out signals that disabled their guns. In another part of the ship, First Officer Mi-Ray coordinated with Tai Young-shin. The retired combat engineer had helped the crew turn the ship's cleaning robots into weapons. The small machines now moved through the corridors, releasing electric charges that disabled pirate equipment. "Look at their faces," Mi-Ray said, watching through the security cameras. They never expected a passenger ship to fight back like this. The pirates were now split into small groups, trying to find a way out. But the ship's corridors had changed again. Doors that were open before were now closed. Paths that led to their ships were blocked. "Team 2, move in," Haynul ordered. His second team approached from behind the confused pirates. They carried special weapons that fired sticky nets, trapping more invaders. In the center of the ship, Kang Da, the pirate leader, was getting desperate. Half his crew was trapped or unconscious. The others couldn't reach their ships. None of their equipment worked properly. "This isn't possible," he shouted, hitting a wall in frustration. "It's just a passenger ship." "A human passenger ship," Haynul's voice came through the speakers. "You should have checked your history. Pirates have tried to take our ships before. We learned from every attempt." Captain Du Young watched as more pirates were captured. Some tried to surrender now, dropping their useless weapons. Others still fought, but they were fighting blind, their helmet systems completely dead. "Have we had any casualties?" Du Young asked. "None, Captain," Jai-1 reported from the medical bay. "The pirates never got close to any passengers or crew. Our defenses worked perfectly." In the engineering section, Tai Young smiled as he watched the ship's systems work. Every cable he had helped install, every hidden defense he had designed, was doing its job. The pirates had thought they were attacking a luxury cruise ship. Instead, they had walked into a trap years in the making. "All main groups contained," Haynul reported finally. "Only Kang Da and his personal guard are still free. They're cornered in Section 4. Do Young nodded. "Prepare for final confrontation. Let's end this quickly and get our passengers back to their vacation." Pirate leader Kang Da was angry and scared. Most of his crew was captured, and nothing on his ship worked anymore. He had only 5 pirates left with him. They were trapped in a long hallway that kept changing around them. "The passengers," he said suddenly. "Find me a way to the passenger areas. If we can't win this fight, we can at least take hostages." First Officer Mi-Ray heard this through the ship's hidden microphones. She quickly reported to Captain Du Young Kim on the bridge. "Sir, they're trying to reach the passenger sections." Do Young's face stayed calm, but his eyes showed a hint of satisfaction. "Let them try. Activate the passenger quarter defenses." The pirates found a path that seemed to lead to the guest rooms. They ran down the corridor, thinking they had finally found a way to turn things around. But when they reached the passenger areas, they found another surprise. Every door they tried to break through turned into a solid metal wall. Windows that looked normal became unbreakable shields. The fancy decorations in the hallways transformed into defensive barriers. "What kind of ship is this?" one of Kang Da's men shouted. In the secure passenger areas, people watched through hidden screens as the pirates struggled. Many passengers were actually enjoying the show, drinking coffee and eating snacks while they waited. "Will we be safe here?" a young passenger asked Dr. Jae-won Lee, who was checking on everyone's condition. "Completely safe," Jae-won answered with a smile. "These rooms are stronger than military bunkers. We just make them look pretty." Security Chief Haynul Park and his teams moved quietly behind the pirates, closing off their escape routes. The ship's design was working perfectly. Every time the pirates thought they found a way out, they actually moved deeper into a trap. In engineering, Tai-Young Shin watched the systems work. "Look at these readings," he told a crew member. "Their weapons are nearly dead. The ship's energy field is draining all their power." Kang Dae tried to use his communication device to call the ships, but nothing worked. His expensive pirate equipment was now just heavy, useless metal. He was starting to understand just how badly he had failed. "This is your final warning." Captain Do Young's voice came through the speakers. "Surrender now." "Never," Kang Dae shouted. "We are the most feared pirates in this sector. We won't surrender to a passenger ship." "Very well," Do Young replied calmly. "Haenul, you may proceed with the final capture." The lights in the pirates section suddenly went out. When they came back on seconds later, the hallway had completely changed. The pirates found themselves in a small circular room with no doors. "What's happening?" one of Kang Dae's men asked, his voice shaking. The walls started to move, slowly pushing inward. They weren't going to crush the pirates, just make the space too small for them to fight or use weapons. "Stop! Stop!" Kang Dae finally shouted. We surrender." The walls stopped moving. Haenul's voice came through a speaker. "Drop your weapons and kneel down. Put your hands behind your heads." As the pirates followed these orders, First Officer Mei Ray turned to Captain Do Young on the bridge. "Should we tell the passengers they can return to their regular activities soon?" "Yes," Do Young said. "But first, make sure all the pirates are properly secured. We don't want to interrupt our guests' vacation any more than we already have." While Security Chief Haenul Park's teams handled the captured pirates, other crew members worked to make the ship even safer. The maintenance crew found creative ways to use their regular tools as extra protection. Head of Maintenance Department Min Ho-Budik looked at the cleaning robots lined up in their storage room. "These little helpers already proved they can disable pirate equipment," he said to his team. "Let's make them even better." The maintenance crew quickly added small cameras to the cleaning robots. Now these machines could patrol the halls, looking for any pirates who might still be hiding. The robots moved silently, their regular cleaning sounds masking their new purpose. In the kitchen areas, Chief Cook Yoon Ji-Kang organized her staff differently. They turned their cooking tools into defensive weapons. Large pots of hot water stood ready near doorways. Strong nets, usually used for storing food, were positioned to drop from the ceiling. "No pirate will get through my kitchen," Yoon-ji said firmly, holding a heavy rolling pin like a club. Her staff nodded in agreement, each holding their chosen kitchen tools. On the bridge, Captain Do Young Kim received reports about these preparations. He smiled as he read how each department found its own way to help. This was what made humans special. They could turn anything into a tool when needed. "Sir," First Officer Mei Ray reported, "engineering has something interesting to show you." In the engine room, Tai-Young Shin had helped the engineers make an important discovery. The ship's regular waste disposal system could be used to collect and trap any remaining pirates. "See these disposal tubes?" Tai-Young explained to the captain through the video link. "We can reverse their airflow. Any pirate who tries to use the service corridors will get pulled into our capture nets." Meanwhile, Dr. Jae-won Lee found ways to use medical equipment to help security. Her medical scanners, usually used to check patients, now watched for any moving shapes behind walls. The bright lights from surgery rooms were positioned to temporarily blind anyone who tried to break in. "Remember," Jae-won told her staff, "everything in this medical bay can help us stay safe. We just need to think differently about how to use it." Even the passengers started to help. A group of children noticed something the adults had missed. They could hear pirates moving through the walls by pressing cups against the metal panels. Soon, passengers in every secure room were listening carefully, reporting any sounds they heard. "The passengers are actually enjoying this," Mei Ray said to Do Young. "They're treating it like an exciting game." Humans adapt quickly, Du Young replied. It's what we do best. In the cargo areas, the crew found more ways to use regular equipment for defense. Loading machines became barriers. Cargo containers were positioned to create safe paths for security teams. Even the air conditioning system was changed to work against the pirates. Every system on this ship can serve two purposes, Newell explained to his security teams. The pirates thought they were attacking the simple passenger ship. They didn't understand that humans never build anything with just one use in mind. As the crew worked, they shared ideas with each other. Each new suggestion was tested and improved. The ship became stronger with every passing hour, its hidden features multiplying as human creativity took over. Captain, May Ray said, checking her screens, the pirates in the brig are watching us through the security cameras. They look worried. Good, Du Young answered. Let them see. Let them learn why attacking a ship full of humans was their biggest mistake. In the ship's holding area, the captured pirates started arguing with each other. They were tired, scared, and angry at their leader, Kang Dai. Everything had gone wrong, and now they were prisoners on a ship they had tried to rob. You said this would be easy. One pirate shouted at Kang Dai through the cell barriers. You said passenger ships were weak. Kang Dai stood in his cell, his face dark with anger. Most of his crew had turned against him. Even his loyal guards now looked at him with doubt in their eyes. How was I supposed to know? Kang Dai shouted back. No one told us human ships were built like this. Security Chief Newell Park watched the pirates argue through the security cameras. He turned to Captain Du Young Kim, who had come down to check on the prisoners. Their crew is falling apart, Newell said quietly. Fear does that, Du Young replied. They're starting to understand what they're dealing with. On the bridge, First Officer May Ray monitored the pirate ships still attached to the Stellar Dawn. The pirates' vessels were now completely under their control. The ship's systems had taken over their computers, locking them down. The pirate ships are trying to send messages, May Ray reported. Some of their other crews want to surrender before we disable their ships completely. In the cargo hold, where the first fight had happened, Tae-young Shin worked with the engineering team. They were studying the pirates' equipment, learning its weaknesses. Every piece of information would help protect other ships in the future. Their technology isn't bad, Tae-young said, examining a pirate weapon. They just don't know how to use it properly. Humans are better at understanding how things work. Suddenly, alarms rang through the holding area. 3 pirates had managed to break out of their cells. They were trying to reach their leader, Kang Dai. This is our last chance, one escaping pirate shouted. We have to get back to our ships. But the ship was ready for this. The maintenance robots that Minho's team had modified quickly surrounded the escaped pirates. The robots sprayed them with sticky foam that hardened instantly. The pirates couldn't move. Did they really think we wouldn't be prepared for this? Newell asked, watching his security teams quickly recapture the escaped pirates. In his cell, Kang Dai watched his last hopes disappear. His remaining loyal crew members now looked at him with anger. They had followed him into this trap, and now they were all going to face human justice. I surrender my command, Kang Dai finally said, his voice quiet and defeated. The crew can blame everything on me. Captain Du Young called a meeting with his senior staff. The pirates are broken, he told them. Their ships are under our control. Their crews have turned against each other. Now we need to decide what to do with them. The Space Police Station is 2 days away, May Ray suggested. We can deliver them there without delaying our vacation cruise too much. Du Young nodded. Send the message. Tell them we've captured the pirates who have been causing so much trouble in this sector. The captured pirates listened quietly as they heard these plans. They had learned an important lesson. Humans might look soft and peaceful on the outside, but they were stronger and smarter than anyone expected. 2 days after capturing the pirates, the Stellar Dawn arrived at the Space Police Station. The station's officers were amazed when they saw how many pirates had been captured by a passenger ship. This is the biggest pirate catch we've had all year, Chief Inspector Jae-hoon said as he checked the prisoners. And you did this without any military help. Captain Do-young Kim stood with his senior staff, watching as the pirates were led away. Our ship had all the help it needed, he said calmly. Every human ship does. We just hide it well. The police were especially interested in Kang-dae, the pirate leader. His capture would make the space lanes much safer. As they led him away, Kang-dae looked back at the stellar dawn with a mix of fear and respect. I will tell others, he said quietly. No more attacks on human passenger ships. They are too dangerous. After the pirates were gone, the stellar dawn continued its journey to the paradise resorts. The passengers were excited. They now had an amazing story to tell when they reached their destination. In the ship's main hall, the crew organized a special dinner to celebrate their victory. Chef Yoon-ji and her kitchen staff cooked their best meals. The dining room was full of happy passengers sharing stories about their part in defeating the pirates. My children helped by listening through the walls with cups, one mother told Security Chief Hae-nul proudly. They felt like real space heroes. Dr. Jae-won walked around the room, checking on everyone one last time. She was happy that her medical bay had stayed mostly empty during the whole event. The ship's defenses had worked so well that no one was seriously hurt. First Officer Mayray stood with Ta-young near the windows, looking out at the stars. The pirates' ships are being studied now, she said. Every human ship will be even safer because of what we learned from this attack. Captain Do-young received a message from Earth Space Fleet Command. They were impressed by how well the Stellar Dawn had handled the situation. The message said that other passenger ships would now copy their defense ideas. Our ship will be famous, Mayray said, reading the message. The first passenger liner to capture an entire pirate fleet. Not the first, Do-young corrected her with a small smile. Just the first that the pirates found out about. Human ships have been defending themselves for years. We just keep it quiet. In the following weeks, news spread through space about what had happened. Other pirates heard the story of how the Stellar Dawn had defeated Kang-dae's fleet. Many of them decided that attacking human ships wasn't worth the risk anymore. At the paradise resorts, the passengers of the Stellar Dawn were treated like celebrities. Everyone wanted to hear their story. The cruise company even started advertising their ships as the safest way to travel through space. Will you be traveling with us again? Mayray asked some passengers as they left the ship. Of course, they answered. We feel safer on a human ship than anywhere else in space now. As the Stellar Dawn prepared for its next journey, Captain Do-young looked at his crew with pride. They had shown why humans were different from other space travelers. They didn't just build ships for one purpose. They made every ship ready for anything. Next cruise will probably be quieter, Hae-nul said as he joined the captain on the bridge. Probably, Do-young agreed. But we'll still be ready. That's what humans do best. We prepare for everything while looking like we're prepared for nothing.